Life has a funny way of keeping receipts. Folks like to think they can toss bad energy into the world and walk away clean. But the truth is, nothing ever really disappears. It just circles back when you least expect it. This is one of those stories that sticks with you. The kind that makes you pause, swallow hard, and maybe rethink how you treat people when nobody's watching. It's a heart-touching karma story rooted in everyday life. Not some fairy tale, but something raw, real, and painfully human. There was an old man named Henry who lived on the edge of a small town most people drove past without a second glance. His house was old, his porch sagged a little, and the paint had been peeling for years. Folks didn't know much about him, and honestly, they didn't care to. He kept to himself, wore the same worn-out jacket even in summer, and spent most evenings sitting alone at his wooden table, eating simple meals like soup or rice. To outsiders, he looked like someone life had chewed up and spit out. What people didn't know was that Henry hadn't always lived like this. Years ago, he had money, respect, and a family. He worked hard, built a small business from nothing, and thought success meant stacking cash and keeping score. Back then, he wasn't exactly kind. He stepped on people when it suited him, ignored those who needed help, and believed the world owed him something. If someone fell behind, he figured that was their problem, not his. One winter night long ago, when Henry was still in his prime, a man knocked on his office door after hours. The guy looked exhausted, clothes thin, hands shaking from the cold. He asked Henry for a short-term job or even a small loan so he could buy food for his kids. Henry didn't even let him finish. He waved him off, muttered something about laziness, and slammed the door. That man stood outside for a moment, snow falling on his shoulders, then turned and walked away. Henry never thought about him again. Years passed. The business grew, then competition hit, then bad decisions piled up. Henry trusted the wrong people, cut corners, and burned bridges. Slowly, everything he built crumbled. His wife left after years of feeling unseen. His kids drifted away, tired of his cold attitude. Friends stopped calling. By the time Henry realized he was alone, it was too late to rewind. Now old and nearly broke, Henry lived off a tiny pension and whatever he could scrape together. Pride kept him from asking for help. Every night he ate quietly, spoon scraping the bowl, memories louder than the room itself. Regret has a way of getting real loud when life slows down. One evening, as Henry walked back from the grocery store with a small bag of basics, he slipped on the icy sidewalk and fell hard. Pain shot through his leg and he couldn't get up. Cars passed by. People glanced, slowed down for a second, then kept moving. Nobody wanted the hassle. Henry lay there, cold seeping into his bones, heart pounding with fear and shame. Just when he thought he might pass out, someone stopped. A younger man, maybe mid-30s, jumped out of his beat-up truck and rushed over. He helped Henry up, brushed the snow off him, and insisted on driving him home. The guy talked easy, cracking jokes, trying to lighten the mood. Henry felt embarrassed but grateful. At the house, the man helped him inside and noticed the empty kitchen. Without making a big deal, he ran back to his truck and brought in a bag of hot food. Henry's eyes welled up, but he tried to hide it. Pride dies slow. As they sat at the table, the light from the window falling just right, Henry finally looked at the man's face. Something about him felt familiar. The man smiled and said, "You probably don't remember me, but my dad told me about you." Henry's chest tightened. "My dad was the guy who came to your office years back, asking for work during that bad winter." The man said calmly, "You turned him away. We struggled for a long time after that. But you know what? He always told me not to hate you. He said life would teach its own lessons." Henry couldn't speak. Every memory came rushing back like a punch to the gut. The cold night, the slammed door, the man walking away. The younger man continued, "My dad passed a few years ago, but he taught me that kindness ain't about who deserves it. It's about who needs it. Guess tonight, that's you." That moment broke Henry. Tears streamed down his face. The kind you can't hold back no matter how hard you try. All those years of regret finally had a voice. Karma didn't come to punish him with anger or revenge. It came back wearing mercy. The man stayed until Henry was settled, left his number on the table, and told him to call if he needed anything. Before leaving, he said something that stuck forever. What you give always returns. Sometimes it comes back harder, sometimes softer, but it always comes back. After that night, things slowly changed for Henry. He started helping where he could, even if it was just offering advice, a kind word, or sharing a meal. He volunteered at a local shelter, not because he thought it would erase the past, but because it was the right thing to do now. People noticed. Connections formed. Loneliness loosened its grip. Henry never became rich again. His house stayed old, his clothes stayed simple, but something else filled the space money used to take. Up, peace, acceptance, purpose. This heart-touching karma story isn't about guilt or punishment. It's about awareness. Every action leaves a mark. Every choice echoes. You don't always see the impact right away, but trust this, the universe never forgets. Whether you're kind or cruel, generous or selfish, life keeps the score quietly. In a world moving too fast, where folks scroll past pain like it's nothing, stories like this remind us to slow down, to look twice, to help when we can. Because someday when the tables turn, and they always do, you'll want the world to remember you as someone who gave, not someone who took. Karma isn't magic. It's memory. And life has a long one.